Are you tired of feeling overlooked, talked over, or not taken seriously no matter how hard you work or how much you bring to the table? Ever wondered how some people seem to naturally command respect while you're still trying to get a word in? The truth is, it's usually not just one big thing holding you back. It's a few small habits, tiny everyday behaviors that slowly chip away at your confidence and make you feel as though your power is out of reach. But here's the good news. You can rebuild that confidence and reclaim your power. And no, it doesn't take a complete personality overhaul. If you're new here, hi, I'm Elizabeth, a leading humanitarian, former United Nations Senior Advisor, and the author of the book Human Skills, The Power to Connect, your human manual for navigating all human interactions. Today we are unpacking the subtle habits that might be holding you back, and I'll show you practical ways to reclaim that power, all grounded in human skills, the timeless, essential skills that shape how we connect, influence, and grow. Let's dive in. First of all, what do I mean by tiny habits? I'm talking about those small everyday things we do, almost without noticing, that seem totally harmless on the surface, but over time, they slowly chip away at our confidence and our sense of power. And I get it. They don't feel like a big deal in the moment. Maybe it's apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Sorry, can I just say something real quick here? Or holding back an idea in a meeting because you're not 100% sure it's perfect. Or even brushing off compliments with a nervous laugh like, oh, it's nothing. These are all the kind of habits I'm talking about. So why do they matter so much? Because they impact what's called human skills. The real lived-in tools that help you show up confidently in the world. Skills such as self-awareness, emotional awareness, clear communication, and yes, even boundaries. And these human skills, they are not just nice to haves or buzzwords you throw around in a job interview. They are the foundation of how we carry ourselves, connect with others, and step into our own power. When these tiny habits go unchecked, they'll quietly eat away at that foundation. You might start second-guessing yourself more, struggling to speak up, feeling like your voice doesn't matter or carry the weight it should. And before you know it, you're showing up smaller than you actually are. But here's the good news. These habits can be unlearned, and it doesn't take a full life overhaul. It starts with awareness and small intentional shifts. So now, let's dive into the 5 tiny habits that could be unintentionally sabotaging your confidence and power, and what to do instead. Habit 1, negative self-talk. Let's talk about that little voice in your head. You know, the one that whispers things like, you're not good enough, you probably will mess up, what do you think and who do you think you are? Sometimes it's loud and harsh. Other times it's subtle. Just a quiet thought in passing when you look in the mirror or scroll through someone else's highlight reel. But even when it's subtle, it still lands and it still hurts. Here's the thing. We all have that inner critic. It's part of being human. But when left unchecked, that voice becomes a habit, a pattern of thinking that slowly eats away at your confidence, your motivation, and even your willingness to try. I've had moments, especially in high-pressure negotiation rooms or new opportunities, where everything looked fine on the outside, but inside I was thinking, don't mess this thing up. And you know what? That kind of self-talk doesn't protect us, it shrinks us. Negative self-talk weakens 2 of the most essential human skills, self-compassion and emotional regulation. Without them, it's hard to bounce back from setbacks, take healthy risks, or show up fully because you're too busy battling yourself. But here's the shift. Your inner voice is just a habit, and habits can be changed. Start by noticing the language you use with yourself. If you wouldn't say it to a close friend or someone you love, don't say it to you. Instead of, I can't do this, try, this is new, and I'm going to figure it out. Instead of, oh, I'm such an idiot, try, I made a mistake, but I'm learning. This isn't about blind positivity or pretending everything is perfect, but it's about choosing language that supports your growth instead of sabotaging it. Because the most powerful relationship you ever have is the one you have with yourself. And when you shift your inner dialogue, your outer confidence follows. Habit 2, apologizing unnecessarily. This is without a doubt the most common confidence draining habit. Saying sorry when there's nothing to be sorry for. Now, I have to be honest, this one really hits very close to home with me. Between being a woman and growing up in a very traditional British education, I was practically trained to apologize. It was seen as being polite, being proper, and a way to not rock the boat. But over time, it becomes automatic and honestly exhausting. You might recognize this in your own life, such as saying, "Sorry, I'm late," when you're literally 2 minutes behind. Or, "Sorry, can I just say something quickly," before you share an idea in a meeting. Or even, "Sorry," when someone else bumps into you on the street. At first glance, it seems harmless, even courteous. But here's what's really happening. Every time we apologize unnecessarily, we are sending a subtle signal to ourselves and to others that we are in the wrong, or that we are somehow inconveniencing people just by existing or speaking up. And that matters because this kind of constant apologizing chips away at two core human skills: self-esteem and assertiveness. When you downplay your presence, your ideas, or your time, you are teaching people to do the same. And over time, it reinforces the idea that your voice isn't as valuable or that your needs are always secondary. So what can you do instead? Start by catching yourself. When you're about to say sorry, pause and ask, am I actually at fault? Or am I just trying to make myself smaller or more likable? By the way, if you want to know more about what it takes to be more likable, check out my video on that topic. If it's not necessary, try swapping it out. Instead of saying, "Sorry, I'm late," say, "Thank you for your patience." Instead of saying, "Sorry to bother you," try, "Do you have a moment?" Instead of, "Sorry, can I say something?" try, "I would like to add something here." It's a small shift, but over time, it rewires how you see yourself and how others see you. And that's the power of human skills. It's not about being perfect or loud. It's about showing up with quiet confidence and clarity. Habit 3, avoiding eye contact. Now, I'll be the first one to say this. This one is a bit tricky because depending on where you're from, avoiding eye contact can mean very different things. In many cultures, including my own African culture, not holding direct eye contact is often a sign of respect, especially when speaking to someone older or in a position of authority. Growing up, I was told that lowering my gaze showed humility and good manners, and it genuinely was the respectful thing to do. But here's where cultural awareness and sensitivity become so important. In many Western professional environments, the expectation is often the opposite. Avoiding eye contact can be interpreted as a lack of confidence, lack of honesty, and even disinterest. It can unintentionally weaken your presence in a conversation, even when you're fully engaged on the inside. I remember early in my career walking into boardrooms where everyone maintained strong eye contact, and I would instinctively look away when I was speaking, not because I wasn't confident, but because I was conditioned to be respectful. Now, the problem is, in that setting, it came across as unsure or even passive. I wasn't being seen the way I wanted to be seen. So why does eye contact matter? Because it directly impacts two powerful human skills: presence and connection. When you look someone in the eye, not in an intense or aggressive way, but with steadiness and warmth, it tells them, "I see you, I'm here, and I believe in what you're saying." That's the kind of quiet power that builds trust, respect, and influence. If eye contact doesn't come naturally to you, especially for cultural or personal reasons, here's a subtle way to practice. Start by making eye contact when you're listening, not just when you're speaking. It can feel less intimidating at first that way. Then gradually work your way up to holding someone's gaze for a few seconds when you're making a point or sharing an idea. Think of it as eye connection, not just eye contact. Because at the end of the day, real power isn't about dominating a conversation. It's about showing up with presence and letting people feel your confidence without you having to say a word. Habit 4, over-explaining yourself. Let's be honest. How many times if you say something, then immediately feel the urge to explain all the whys and the hows and the please don't misunderstand me's that come with it? Over-explaining is something so many of us do, especially women and people who have been socialized to always appear agreeable, considerate, or non-threatening. And trust me, I've been there. You might catch yourself doing it in a meeting, saying something such as, I think we should go with option B because, it's just a thought, but based on the timelines and the feedback from the last meeting, although I totally get why option A is appealing to you, I just thought maybe this might be worth considering. Of course, happy to go with whatever the team decides. Whew. That's a lot of words to say. I think option B is best. So why do we do this? Because deep down, over-explaining is often rooted in low self-esteem. And that only gets amplified when you're operating in a low trust work environment. It's that nagging feeling of, would they think I'm wrong? Do I need to prove myself? Or will I sound too bold if I just state it simply? And while it may feel like you're being thorough or polite, over-explaining can actually muddle your message and weaken your impact. So instead of sounding confident and clear, you come across as unsure, even when you know exactly what you're talking about. This habit chips away at two important human skills: clarity and self-assurance in communication. Now, I want to be clear. Offering context is not the enemy. Sometimes it's necessary, especially in nuanced conversation. But the key is knowing when to trust that your point lands on its own and when to elaborate with intention, not out of anxiety. Here's a simple mindset shift that helped me. You don't need to earn the right to have an opinion. You already have it. So next time you catch yourself about to explain why you're making a decision, try this. Say what you mean, then pause. Let your words land. Trust that they're enough. And that pause, that's a subtle but powerful way to demonstrate your confidence. Habit 5, saying yes when you really want to say no. The classic people pleaser trap, and one that so many of us fall into without even realizing it. You know that moment someone asks you for a favor, an extra task, or your time, and before you've even processed what they've said or how you actually feel, you've already said, sure, no problem, happy to help. But deep down you're thinking, why did I just agree to that? I'm already overwhelmed. This habit isn't just about being nice. It's often driven by a deeper fear of being seen as difficult or selfish or not a team player. And for many women, myself included, by the way, we've been conditioned culturally, socially, and even professionally to believe that being agreeable equals being valuable. But here's the thing. Every time you say yes, when you mean no, you are saying no to yourself. You are saying no to your time, your peace of mind, your energy, and sometimes even your integrity. And the cost of that, it adds up, slowly eroding your boundaries, your sense of self-respect, and ultimately your confidence. Saying yes when you mean no weakens two crucial human skills: boundary setting and self-respect. And these are non-negotiables if you want to show up in life with presence, clarity, and real power. Now, I get it. Saying no isn't always easy, especially when the request is coming from a boss, a loved one, or someone you really don't want to disappoint. So here's a reframe. Saying no isn't rejection, it's protection. You're protecting your time, your energy, and your ability to say yes wholeheartedly to things that truly matter. So start small. The next time someone asks for something and your gut says no, try, I would love to help, but I'm actually at capacity right now. Or thank you for thinking of me, but I'll need to pass this time. Or let me get back to you, which is a great buffer if you need more time to figure out exactly how you feel. And every time you honor your no, you build trust with yourself. And that kind of self-trust, That's the foundation of unshakable confidence. If you find yourself doing these habits, please don't beat yourself up. It's totally normal. And the good news is that these habits are all fixable. So there you have it. The 5 tiny habits that could be quietly undermining your power and how to start fixing them starting today. Each habit might seem small on its own, but together they shape how you show up, how others see you, and most importantly, how you see yourself. One thing to remember is that communication is at the heart of all these habits. It's one of the most important human skills we can develop. How you express yourself, set boundaries, and connect with others can make all the difference in reclaiming your confidence and influence. And the best part, you can change every single one of these habits. And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these habits do you catch yourself doing? Or which of these are you ready to shift even just a little? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's have a real conversation. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this video spoke to you in any way, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little confidence boost today. And if you want to dive deeper into building stronger communication skills, check out my communication playlist. It's packed with practical tips to help you speak with clarity and confidence. Until next time, remember that to succeed in life, we must first succeed in understanding people. I will see you in the next one.